Test.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, good evening, Columbus, Georgia. This is the Mark LaJoy program, or the LaJoy program. And I've got my co-host here is Julia Pierce. Julia, you want to say something?
Yeah, hey, it's my first time co-hosting with Sarah here with us and a guest.
Yep.
So I'm excited.
And we have Sarah Smith also. Sarah Smith, yeah, she's
here.
on board. We got a special guest today. It's Matthew Sanchez. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Oh, well, Mark, thank you for having me. I mean, just to be here is on this side of the table is interesting, but not like new. So I'm just
Right.
grateful.
Well, that's great. So I'm the only guy that you hadn't interviewed yet as far as the mayoral race is
That
concerned.
is so true. But let me clear it up. Let me
Okay.
just clear this up. I only interview people who have reached out to me.
Okay.
The only person that did not reach out to me, even if it's through a third party,
Yeah.
was Isaiah.
I got you.
I interviewed Isaiah because we want to know where that money went.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason, and I wanted to hear his opinion about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody else has reached out. So, well, we don't. The time is out now, Mark. So
Yeah.
the 19th is
I
almost
know.
here.
It's
That's
almost
it.
2
That's
weeks.
it. It's
Yeah.
just around the corner, but
Yeah.
that's okay
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people still haven't made their selections on who the mayor is
That's so
going to be
true.
or
That's
who
so
they
true.
want to vote for a mayor.
That's
But
so true.
of course, I hear a lot of things out there. I hear polls, and I said, "There's no poll. There's never been a poll. Nobody has done a poll.
Yeah.
I don't know what poll they're referring to.
Sure.
But there's been nothing out there to indicate anything one way or the other in either direction.
Sure.
I know initially they tried to put Isaiah up there at the top and Joanne Kogel. I've got reprimanded for that.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
somebody was like, "Oh, it's this and it's this," and I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
"Okay, I'm sorry."
Okay, I was not aware.
Yeah,
that
if
people-
you would believe how many people mess up my name, they call me LaJoya, LaJoyce.
Well, it's the la. It's
Yeah.
the la that throws
Yeah.
people off.
And
The
some of the
la.
people that don't like me call me LaJoke, and they call me all that. So I think I'm a
wow.
joke. Yeah,
Okay.
those are the mean keyboard warriors. out
Yeah,
there.
and it's always the people that don't have a profile picture.
Exactly.
I know, the
Exactly.
anonymous
Always the
one.
ones that-
Anonymous
It's always them.
395 or whatever
Yeah.
you are out there.
Those are
Ridiculous,
bots.
ridiculous. I have gotten some since I've been interviewing
Yeah.
candidates, so I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So how did you? We'll take a little bit of story about yourself and how did you get started in the podcast business? So,
Well, I own a production company.
okay.
And the only reason I own a production company is because I had a TV show with CTV Beam at the time. This was when Mr. Green was living. If you know CTV Beam, then you know Mr. Green. And when he passed, I decided to go a different direction. And honestly, they wanted me to go in a direction that I didn't want to go. And they had their own reasons why they wanted to do that. But I just decided if I was going to step down from this cable TV show and another network would pick me up or somebody would pick me up, they would have to pick up my company and give me full creative control. So I started the production company and started doing. I've always done these small, baby 1-minute videos.
Really?
Okay,
Right.
I've been doing that since I've been in college. since
You
I've been in college.
invented reels. Apparently. That's what's going on.
Well, at the time they didn't really have reels when I
I
was
know,
doing. I
but
guess
that's what
so.
it sounds
Wow,
like.
that's so weird that you say that, Sarah. Okay, so I've always been doing those, and that's what got me the TV show. But now I'm in the podcast world because it just kind of fell on me, though, Mark. It just
Yeah.
kind of it's not something I had a desire to do. It's just something that fell on me, and I'm doing it now. So
Yeah,
praise
you're
the
getting a
Lord.
lot of attention
Well-
for sure. So
Well, that's great and all, but my desire is to keep the attention. Let's see what this is. Lord have mercy.
they see you on Facebook.
They see me. so my desires. So hopefully that attention stays.
Yeah.
Because I'm way much more than just interviewing candidates.
Well,
Right.
I saw you like in passing, and but it wasn't until someone sent me a video of yours that you were interviewing another candidate, and I was like, huh, he's kind of in the same field as us. So it would be nice to hear your take on how you see Columbus, and also just to hear your, I guess, journey into podcasting. What do you like about it?
Yeah.
And to hear a little bit of the backstory, like Mark was saying earlier.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I have a love or hate for it. I think I'm just trying to be obedient.
That's good.
I'm just trying to be obedient to the call of my life. And so I don't have great opinions about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm just chasing obedience.
Right.
And if I chase obedience, hopefully it blesses somebody.
Yeah.
That's the goal here.
Yeah.
If I can bless somebody, that's the goal
Well,
here.
it's kind of doing something a little different. I guess because, you know, in this political climate, people want transparency.
They do.
People want to hear
They do, Sarah.
what others are saying. Like, how do you feel about the 45 million missing money? How do
Yeah.
you feel about the candidates?
Yeah.
Do you feel like the government is doing a good job?
Yeah.
So this is why I think people like you, and I know Terrence Flowers, he has his own
Yes, he
podcast.
does.
And then, like, you know, we started ours. You know, we want to hear voices, you know, and I personally, as much as I'm not like a race person, like I don't like to draw attention to it, but
Yeah.
I like seeing people who do have a graceful spirit about them, which
I
is what
appreciate that.
drawn me to you.
I appreciate that.
And I do also like to see people of color making having reasonable conversations.
I feel you on
and
that
not
one.
emotion. Like let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about what's real.
Absolutely.
Not the hype, not the emotion.
Absolutely.
And then let's find a way to meet in the middle or
Right.
something.
No,
So-
I hear you.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, like, I gave you my story early on. I started out in the reel-to-reel days in a radio station, and I worked at a Denny's restaurant washing dishes, and seen in a
Love Denny's, by the way.
Yeah.
Love Denny's.
way back when it was called something else.
Oh, okay.
But it's Denny's now.
Okay.
So, back in those days, I had just a lot of labor jobs and things like that I had. I was just a young guy. I didn't know
Right.
any better.
Right.
But I seen an announcement for a radio station job, and I said, what's the chances? So I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 16. And of course, I was popular. I played football, I was in wrestling and track and all that. And
Yeah.
some of my folks out there are probably going to say, well, he wasn't that popular. Yeah. I think I was. I had a lot of dates. But anyway, so I was a young guy. Martha, I love you to death. But that's my wife. So.
Disclaimer. He's in
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been together 45 years. So
Wow.
She ended up with you.
yeah,
so.
she ended up with me. She's the lucky one. But, I ended up that time and got the job and went out there and filled the application out. And I figured that was it. That's all you had to do. And they go, are you ready to do a demo tape? And I'm going, what's that? I had no idea. So they stuck me in this little closet over there and I did news and weather. And
You got
I was
that
hired.
voice, though, Mark. You got that
That's
voice.
what I was
Yeah.
going to say. It's like you just
So
have
I
that
can-
order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. You have that voice. You,
Well, I
you
got the
would-
deep
you would
voice.
kill an audiobook.
Yeah,
Kill it.
exactly.
I know. That would be awesome.
And I would definitely purchase it, too.
Yeah. So that
The night
kind of
before
started.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That kind of started my life out, and then ended up going in the Air Force for a year, and that didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. But I really enjoyed radio. I did. I became very popular. I worked on the days that the jocks didn't want to work.
Okay.
It was like Sundays,
Okay.
late Saturday nights. Those were good times because people were tuning in.
Right.
And so I became very
I'm
popular.
assuming you have to explain what jocks is because I'm Mark,
Disc
I'm
jockey.
28. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Back then we were called disc jockeys.
Okay.
Because you had the little
I
records.
know I'm young, so there are
Yeah.
a lot of terminology I may not know. Mark,
Yeah.
So you gotta help.
You had the
a boy
little
out.
record 45 records, you know, and those were disc. We considered those a disc. And
Oh, okay.
what you didn't do, you had to splice reel to reel, the old reel to reel recordings. You had this machine. You laid out your tape, and it would glide through, and you would cut out that music. You had a little
You
thing.
were an engineer.
Huh?
You was an engineer too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You had to be. You had to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I feel that.
And so we would splice those tapes together. Now, when you played the music, it just, went through, and especially the recordings like news and weather and all that kind of stuff. So, when you do the initial broadcast, you don't just keep playing the initial broadcast. You just, it's reel to reel. It's tape.
Right.
So you just keep going over and over.
Right.
So that's how we started out the early days, But that's how I got involved in it, and always had an interest about going back to it in those
But
days.
now you've created your own little space for it. So
Yeah.
you're
Well,
kind of
we
still
thought
doing it in your way.
We thought it was good because of the political motivation, what's going on. I wanted to inform people about the issues, and what's going on in Columbus, and what specifically, a lot of questions have come out as a result of it. And I wanted people just to see the other side of who I am, because you've read a lot of stuff on Facebook, and some of these keyboard warriors get out there and they go, "Oh, he's just a big asshole."
They have called you that, Mark?
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
Listen, we had to get our teeth out with this, I guess the sheriff campaign.
Really?
Yeah, the problem, because I ran for sheriff 5 times, the news loves to use that because they like to show that that's unsuccessful. He's not ready for prime time. He can't do that. I was like,
No, they know you are ready. And
Yeah, they know I am
that
ready.
you would probably disrupt the whole system, which is
Probably.
why they don't want you in there.
Right.
Am I right, Julie?
Yeah.
yeah. But I was a cop. I was a cop for, I'm still a cop. I'm a deputy sheriff, and for
still
14
patrolling.
years. What's that?
You still a
Yeah.
cop.
For over 40 years now, I've been serving in both law enforcement and the military capacity until I retired about 6 years ago. I finally retired out of the military,
Wow.
and I gave it a good career. I've been a public servant just all my entire life. I've served this country,
How
in
long you been
wartime.
in Columbus?
What's that?
How long you been here in Columbus?
Since 1988.
Okay.
Got here in 88, and we came to Columbus, and we settled in down here. At first, I lived on Fort Benning. Fort Benning was unusual because I'd been there before for infantry school and other schools that I'd been throughout my military career. But we ended up there, and we started to like where we were at, and that was important, is that we were in a place that I thought maybe I could retire out, because I was already midway in my career. Usually 10 years, 20 years is kind of the max you serve in the military, 20, 25 years, somewhere around there. And so I was getting near that midway point, and I said, I've got to pick a place that I want to go to.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm from Michigan originally, and there's a lot of snow where you come from up there. And I was throwing my back out. I just didn't want to shovel any more snow. I was done. I was done with that.
Yeah.
And so we just ended up in here. And in 1992, I got out on an early discharge out of active duty with no break in service, and went straight into the Alabama National Guard. And that's where I remained for, over the remainder of about 28 years.
I see.
So we settled in down here, and we thought, this is a good place. This is a good place to be. And, I just got a wild hair up my butt one day, and I decided I was going to run for sheriff as a write-in candidate, because I was already in law enforcement. And I said, the military taught me one thing, is to look at what you can improve. What's wrong? That's what they teach me. And how do you improve that? What do you do to make improvements? And they teach us, the way they teach us is you have a primary mission, you've got a secondary and a tertiary mission. So if one of those things fails, then you've got a backup plan. And that's how we run everything in the military. And so everything that I ever done in my entire life has always been a backup plan. I've got everything there, and I keep explaining to these folks, they go, well, why do you want to keep running so many times? I was like, Abraham Lincoln I'm no Abraham Lincoln, but he ran 8 times for public office. He ran twice for president and was elected after his 8th time. So I'm not equating myself to Abraham Lincoln. I'm not even that famous or that that good. But I have a plan in my mind, and what I wanted to do is make sure that Columbus is the best. We have the best candidates that we
Sure.
can for these positions.
Sure.
They owe it to you as a taxpayer.
Yes, that's
You're
right.
a taxpayer. You're here. You live in Columbus. You live in the area, and I think we owe it to the public. So we have good candidates out there, good people running, politicians that are running for office, and we haven't had that, and that's been a lot of the problem.
See, and I love that, like, just over your life, it feels like you have built something meaningful, and it's not just, you're not wanting to just keep it to yourself. You're wanting to get to spill over
Yeah.
into our community. And it kind of goes back to a question that you asked about, or one of the topics that you sent and that I thought, kind of segues into what you're saying. It's like, hey, when you're building something meaningful, or we can talk about building something meaningful when, you may not come from a lot. Like continuing to build on what you have, what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
And then, making it something better for the people around you. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe did you have something in mind when you were
When I was building,
when you like thought of that topic, that
no, I think.
it's more philosophical, which
Yeah,
I like.
yeah. I think what happens when it comes to like, when you're gifted to do something, or you're gifted to govern something, it is your duty to build it up to the best that it can be.
That's right. I agree.
And if you do not, and you get disappointed because the outcome didn't come like you wanted it to, well, then you have to ask yourself, well, did I do all that I could have done?
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes young people or people who are starting something new, which could be young, try to build things with no resources but don't have any stamina. They don't have any endurance. So I guess that's what I
Right.
meant by that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Good.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I know I've experienced things like that too, because like I started my own business. So I do like independent reporting as well, but
Okay.
I do it from a government accountability and like
Okay.
oversight. So
Okay.
I also do like investigations into like black men who have been wrongfully incarcerated in
Okay,
Georgia.
okay.
So when I started out, obviously, I was not somebody who was very well like respected
Sure,
or whatever, and
sure.
I definitely didn't have resources. So I had to do everything, like myself. I had to find ways that I could be innovative on
Sure.
how to get like open records requests or
Yeah.
what have you. So I definitely understand like that endurance is necessary
Yeah.
because rejection through that, or even hitting brick walls, which I would find,
Yeah.
that was difficult, which is one of the reasons why I think taking this back to Mark,
Yeah.
Not that he didn't have resources, obviously, he didn't have that support. And
Sure.
he was like somebody out there that people didn't really understand. They didn't know
Sure.
him. And so for him, it's like, I'm learning something from the previous run. And even though I was rejected or defeated, however, like, whatever we end up thinking that was about.
Sure.
He just sees, hey, like, I'm going to endure this. I'm going to like keep going back to that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, when they look at, I don't know how you feel about it, a lot of people look at the politics field and they feel that if he ran unsuccessfully one time, they just, because they're not used to a person coming back over and over again, is that just go away. Go
Yeah.
away. Another person come up.
Yeah.
See, that's not how I was trained.
Yeah.
As a military guy and as a police officer, I always have that enduring, when you want to call it,
Tenacity.
yeah, tenacity about stepping forward.
Yeah.
Because I never give up.
Yeah, you
I-
have to have you have to, if you want to build anything great or be involved in anything great, there needs to be a level of consistency within you. That makes sense.
Right. Yes,
that no
it does.
matter what happens, I'm going to do this until I see what I said.
Exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth.
And my good friend Mi Young says, I'm going to say what I see
Yeah.
until I see what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
that's
I'm
good.
going to
That's a
say
good
what
one.
I see until I see what I said.
That's good. That is
So,
a good one.
I
yeah.
have something similar that I say, except when I'm saying it, I said, I'm in prayer, and I say, Lord, I know what I see. but I know what you say.
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah.
really, I just do it like that because I'm a firm believer that we should speak life after
Yeah.
death. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times when we see with our own eyes, we're seeing things that are very much
Sure.
like here, and it's not exactly what God says.
Sure,
So
sure.
I love that.
Yeah,
that you say
whatever
that.
follows the words "I am" will come looking for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever's looking for you will look for action. So be careful what you say that comes out of your mouth.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Exactly.
Like, are you a teacher or something? Like, do you?
Oh, well, see, this is the thing. This is the thing, Sarah. I have always, from a young age, have always been the guy that everybody comes
For
to
advice?
get wisdom from.
Oh, that's
right?
good.
I remember I ain't never said this before. I remember being in school at Eddie Middle School, okay, and the kids used to bring their little boyfriends and bring their little girlfriends, and they used to come to me and ask for advice. And I was just giving what Oprah said, because I tell you, we was watching Oprah, and y'all fixed my life. I was just giving the same thing, but for them it was new.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Because it's a relational thing. It's like they
Yeah.
never heard it
No, they
from
never heard
someone
it.
right in front of
Yeah,
them. And I
so-
think it's so good. And I think this is why we need to have conversations
Mm-hmm,
and we need wise people because it just seems like right now, especially in Columbus, and it's on social media,
Yeah.
it's like there's a certain ideology and there's a certain rhetoric
that word.
that we have to kind of push past. It's like, what's reality? What's actually affecting you on a regular day-to-day relational basis?
Yeah.
Let's center on that first.
Yeah.
And then, let's figure out how to find solutions to the things that's,
Yeah.
I guess, bothering us or something.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that you are someone of wisdom. I sensed that from you after watching, because there was a contentious reel
Lord.
that you had. I think it's with Brielle, and he was coming
Chris.
with some really hard things, and
Yeah.
I was like, you were like, but you were being very gracious. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we got to have him on here.
Yeah. Well. Here's what I learned a long time ago, is that people just want to feel seen, heard, and valued.
You sound like my husband.
If you can do that with every person, with or without a microphone, with or without a camera, with or without somebody telling you to do it, then you're doing good. You're living a great life. And so that's what I try to do, whether it's Chris or whether it's Calvin Smyrie, who I've had on the show, or anybody, Mr. Jimmy Bless. It don't matter. People just want to feel seen, heard, and valued.
See, but I get
So-
mad. I feel like Mark gets mad too, but I'm like learning that I get
and-
really
and that's
angry,
okay.
and I'm gonna snap at somebody.
Oh, no. That's okay. That's okay.
I'm not as gracious. I wish I was.
That's okay. But I don't get mad at people that I don't care about.
Okay.
If I don't care about
But
you,
they're
man,
wrong.
Yeah, they can be wrong. But let me tell you something, Sarah. They can be wrong. And, whatever. A lot of people have said a lot of things about Chris online because that was the most one that got a lot of views. That's okay. Let him be wrong or let him be right.
Yeah.
In his mind, he thinks he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
he
somebody
is.
else does.
He
So-
is kind, and he is acting like the fruit of his life is showing that he's doing good things.
Yeah,
So that's what
sure.
I appreciate.
He has done a lot of good things.
Yeah.
I just we didn't come here to talk about Chris, okay?
I know, that's right.
I
Let's
just think that I just think that we're not used to somebody with his kind of passion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
That's a
it's
nice way to put
hard.
it.
It's hard to see his heart because his passion is so loud. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know Chris personally, but I know him enough to know that he has good intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And the same
Yeah.
thing, I think, like, even with Mark, like, that's one of the things we had to kind of shift, because I know people always had a persona of him, like he was a grouch or that he was mean. And it's the passion. It's like, hey, because, he's
It's
black
them
and
love
white.
folks who call you
Yeah.
LaWanda or LaJala.
I know, and those people you want to snap on because
Yeah.
you know that they're just trying to manipulate.
Yeah.
They're just trying to sway public opinion.
Here's something. Don't let me talk too much.
No,
now.
no,
I know
go
we
ahead.
can't
No,
let
you're
me
the
talk.
guest. Come
Go
on.
ahead.
But here's something you have to know if you're going to be in this line of work, and anybody's going to be, is that people have their own right to their feelings.
Yep.
But there's also a certain level of, there's a child in all of us that always fights to be heard
Yep.
and always fights to be seen. And sometimes that child comes out in moments that he or she shouldn't. And so that's why everybody doesn't deserve a clap back.
Yeah.
Because there's some
That's
parts
true.
of people that just say, no, you didn't understand me. And that's how they communicate.
How are you
That makes
so
sense?
gracious? Like, I feel like politics has made me not as gracious. Like, I feel like
I'm not attached to it. I'm not. I
Yeah,
have
but
no. You asked me how. Go ahead. What you about to say?
Well, I just wanted to address Sarah because, like, she says that, like, politics has not made her, or it's like, caused her to not be as gracious. But one of the things that I really appreciate about Sarah is because, just like you were talking about passion, right? Like, I can be kind of considered aggressive because of my passion. And I remember when Sarah and I first became friends, she was kind of like that level for me where she was like over gracious for certain things, where I was like over aggressive.
that's before they changed me.
And
They burned my heart. They seared my heart.
Oh,
they did you
Lord.
wrong, Mark.
They didn't change the system. No, I don't know, Sarah. I'm just not attached to it. This is my first year
Yeah.
actually in the podcast
Okay.
world doing politics, and I don't know if I will do it in the same way next year whenever it comes around again. And I will say that I am not. My fiance always tells me that I have a heart like Jesus would. And she don't, and sometimes
I need to
she
be
be
your
ready to
wife.
slap.
I need to
She
be her.
wanna
We're gonna
slap
be
somebody. I'm just like, no, baby, we should pray for them. Let's talk to them a little bit because maybe they're hurting. I don't know why. I don't attach myself to short-term conversations that we won't even remember 10 years from now.
Right.
That
yeah.
makes sense.
That makes sense,
And politics is just one of those things for me
So I-
because whether who's in the office, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mark, but whether who's in office, we all know who controls. We all know
The
who's
Lord.
in control.
That's right.
Well,
So
politics is a brief period,
Yeah.
really. And
Yeah.
For some of the candidates, it's not
Yeah.
brief because it depends on how much time or effort you put into something.
yeah, that's true.
And we made an announcement in January last year. So we've announced early, we've announced late, we've been in the middle, we've been on the end.
Sure.
So 5 times, guys, 5 times WRBL and TVM. You should know that. You've got that down pat. But that's the passion that I have, and I feel on a daily basis the way I am. And these two ladies have seen me; they know the soft side of me. They know what the soft side is, and they know that I do have a soft side, especially for people, all people. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what nationality you come from.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference to
Yeah.
me. But I have a passion, and I feel like every day having that passion that I have to teach people something.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an instructor and that I have to go out
That's
there
such a
and
good word, Mark.
Yeah, I feel that way that you've got to teach people. If not necessarily you have to tell them they're wrong or they're right.
Yeah.
But you need to teach somebody. I think that's
Yeah.
what God wanted.
Yeah,
I think,
there's a quote by Maya Angelou. This is one of my first videos that actually did like very well on numbers wise before Reels came out. And she says, when it looks like the sun isn't going to shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds.
yeah, that's a good one.
And if at the end of my life, if everybody who was at my funeral, black or white, rich or poor, can say that I was a rainbow in their clouds, I have done what I was sent here to do.
Yeah.
So that was so beautiful. So I feel like it is my duty, just like you said, I feel like it's my duty to be the rainbow, to be the
Yeah.
light, in so many people's darkest places, because people are dark and they will never say it. They will never say it. They
Yeah.
won't show it because we're so good at this poker face, girl. I'm telling you right now, people can play it to the T,
Yes.
and they go home and they're hurting. So you're right. You're
Yeah.
right, Mark. That was well
And it
said.
kind of I guess that idea catches me off guard because people, they don't see their darkness
Yeah.
and they don't realize that what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
But there are some people that know what they're doing is wrong and they don't care. Their heart is so hard
Yeah.
against, and I guess hell bent on doing what they want to do,
Yeah.
doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's all for their own power, their own greed,
Yeah.
whatever you want to put in
Yeah.
there. But that's the thing. It's like knowing that you're wrong and your wrong actions is affecting so many people. So many people's lives are being destroyed because, you want to have your, I guess, you're I don't know,
Whatever.
you're right standing, you're right in your own mind. I don't know, your self-affirmation. And so like that's my thing. It's like thinking about if we are, and this is where I feel like the Lord led me into politics, because I wasn't in politics. And honestly, I came in politics 2021. And when I first met Mark, I was like, there's something about your voice. You're supposed to be something. I just remember going up to him.
Maybe it was radio announcing or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but who would have known that the Lord led us on this journey?
Yeah.
But like,
Because we first met at Country's Barbecue when you were running for
I
school
love
board. That's where
Yeah.
we first, I remember.
Yeah, this is before this is like even before like I had my baby on like on my, attached to me.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, there's something about you, Mark.
Wow.
So, but the thing about it is like in this journey, just knowing that, hey, we're trying to do something for the Lord, and we have to push back on so much evil.
Yeah.
We're just trying to walk our call. We're just trying to do what we're doing. We're trying to be kind. We're trying to love people. We're naively like going into the wolves' den that we didn't realize was a wolves' den. You know, we thought everybody was nice, and then they're nice to your face.
Yeah.
But then they're treacherous, and me, Mark and I, we've seen this a lot. Like, they're treacherous behind your back. Like, they plot against you, or they're just going to protect their buddy system.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm just like, where is that line between, sorry, there's something in my throat. Where's that line between standing for your passion and walking your call and loving people?
Ask it a different way.
I'm trying not to choke. For
Do
some
you want this
reason-
water?
I do, thank you. I have some right there, but I don't want to get up.
I just want to. I feel like I understand what you're saying, but I want to fully understand. So ask it a different way.
So, like, let's say you want to do what God called you to do, but you have to push back on evil. So, in pushing back on evil, there's an element where you just cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot recognize the little child in them. You just have to.
Yeah. I guess. Listen, you get what you look for.
Yeah.
So if I go in a room, if I go into a room and I look for negative, I'm gonna find it. Okay. So I guess my answer to that is, why is evil even in my brain to think about? Why is it even in my spirit to think about? Why isn't that I just should be focused on what God has me? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, Sarah. It's because what you're saying is so true, and a lot of people deal with it. And I just had three calls this morning of the same issue. And my answer is always, why is it so loud in your spirit that it overtakes it and prevents you from doing what God has called you to do or what you're called to do?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why does it have this room? Why does evil even have a seat at the table? Whatever evil is. Maybe it's an evil person. Maybe it's an evil group. Maybe the group is not good for you. But why? Why do we allow evil even in our space if we know it's bad?
Go ahead.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. Well, I actually like that, and I think that that's a good concept because that's
Sarah
something
over there
that.
choking. Lord
Sorry.
Jesus, Sarah.
I don't know. There's a tickle in my throat.
There's some evil in your throat.
The evilness is there.
It's in that water. Get out that water.
So-
We will banish the evil from the studio tonight.
So that's actually a really good concept because,
Yeah.
and that's something that I've been learning as well because, like, one of the things that, as you are purposed, right, that you should stay focused. And I think about how, like, Jesus in the Bible, it says that he had his face set towards Jerusalem, and we knew that his mission was to go and be the sacrifice, you know, and so he wasn't even distracted by the people who were over here that were screaming and hollering at him. He even had to rebuke his disciples. And so that's like one of the things that I have been learning is like you cannot give place to the voices at all. Like if you are focused on your purpose and your mission, which we know is good, right? No matter like what it looks like to other people, then you shouldn't really entertain those things at all anyway. And so if your ear is inclined to those things, I think that just shows that there's room for growth, you know,
maturity.
for us to move in the ways that we need to go. But also if light expels darkness,
Come on.
right?
Come on.
Like, should
Come
we
on,
not?
I know
should
today
we
ain't
not
Sunday.
just
but
be
let's
the
turn it
light?
to Sunday. Come on, okay. Sarah, what would you say? Because I feel like you were thinking a different way.
Yeah,
Tell me.
I'm thinking of going in because I think of where the Bible says that Jesus calls us to be sheep among wolves, right?
Right.
So we're among the wolves, but like, how do we keep that sheep nature of kindness and meekness and
Yeah.
gentleness when we're also called to like correct, rebuke,
Yeah.
encourage? There's just so many
It's
different
grace.
nuances.
It's just grace.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's just a level of grace
I need a
that
new
is so hard to do. And please don't look at me and think that I'm graceful, because I'm not always.
Yeah.
But grace without truth is invalid. So you can give truth, but with grace. That makes sense? You
Yeah.
can correct with grace. You can love with grace. Just because, okay, let's say if me and you are in an argument and it doesn't end well, it doesn't mean that I have just shunned you away. It just means we need some time apart. Let me think about what I said.
Yeah, that's my.
And in some cases that doesn't work because people are like, no, blase, do it. And y'all never get back together. That's okay too. That's okay because maybe we weren't supposed to be friends. That makes sense.
Purpose.
Yeah, and I see a lot of that in law enforcement. Being in law enforcement, like I say, I'm in a rural agency. I'll leave the name out just for the protection of myself. But the bottom line is you see that every day because there's some things that people don't understand about law enforcement officers, and it kind of relates to what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I have to become a judge, jury, a doctor, a nurse, a family counselor, and if need be, take somebody's life.
Yeah.
And so those are
Executioner.
7 very
I never thought
extremely
about it like
important
that,
things.
Mark. That was so
Yeah,
well said.
and when you look at that, a lot of people said, "Well, he's a cop, can't do that job." Do you realize how many jobs I've done? I carry 7 hats in my vehicle. I put another hat on. I'm like, oh, there's marriage counselor again. Here we go.
Yeah.
And a family counselor. And now, when you add to it, there's an 8th thing, which is mental health. We have to deal with a lot of mental health patients out there that don't get the help. They don't have an understanding. They're not on their medication.
Yeah.
We got to get them help if they're talking about suicide. I have to make a decision on taking them involuntarily or voluntarily to get help. The thing that's really, and we're seeing a lot more of that. We're seeing on the younger level, we're seeing a lot of suicides and things out there. And there's just a lot of dysfunctional families out there. When you see it on our side of the house, you wonder. And then some people will come, I equate this to politics a lot because some people will say, well, you've never done this job. You can't do that. You can't do that. I was like, you don't know what I've done. You really don't. I mean, I've done all of these things. I've seen all of the things. And I seen a statistic the other day and see if I can find it. But they said that the average person, I remember, has had something like, 25 or 30 different things that have happened to them.
Wow.
That, that way. And where law enforcement officers, it's like 3,000 different events in their life. And we wonder why some of the law enforcement officers, they take their life because of things that they've done. It's the things that they see and the things that we have to go through. And the same thing with a soldier. You see a lot of these soldiers, now you see them, they have PTSD and they have all these other issues, The devil is always on their shoulder all the time.
Yeah.
And that's something we have to fight. When I came back from Afghanistan, I was 80 pounds. I was about 80 pounds lighter than I am now. And I didn't know it then. It was called PTSD. And I was in horrible shape here. And people deal with that differently. Some people drink alcohol, they take drugs.
I think that's what I'm essentially saying, Sarah, is that what happens is, this is what I've noticed, and I'm not a counselor, so I'm not diagnosing anybody. But what happens is that as a child, you grow up, and if your needs are not met as a child, whether that's somebody to talk to or somebody to cry on, somehow as you get older, you become what you didn't get. And what happens is that we put all of our problems that are unhealed in this container. and we only take them out when we need to defend ourselves. We don't take them out when they need attention, when they need to be healed. And so people who have all this negativity about them or what evil or whatever about, it's because they have allowed this container to stay full of problems and trauma their whole life. And no one never asked them what it was like to be them. No one never asked them. And because they never asked them, they just stayed who they were.
But in the sad thing about that, and I guess the frustrating part, is a lot of those people become our leaders.
Oh, Lord.
They become our leaders.
Jesus, yes,
and
they
so
do.
therefore it's like when we talk about leadership and
Yeah.
like there's another topic that I really liked, leadership that actually serves the people.
Yeah.
Just like what Mark you're talking about, you have to have so many different roles. You have to have so many hats on. But we see that the people who are making these decisions for their, I guess, to protect their inner child, according to what we're talking about. But these people, they have, I guess, gotten so used to operating in a way that is not beneficial to
ethical.
people, and
Yeah.
not ethical, not beneficial to their community,
Yeah.
not beneficial to the people around them. So at what point does we still have grace, right?
Yeah.
But there is an element where you're like, no, this is enough. You need to stop. You are
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
And you can't be kind about it. You have to just be like, you're wrong.
Well, and I think that what we need to be mindful of is that when we are exhibiting grace, okay, and kindness, that a lot of people think that kindness is niceness. And, sometimes Jesus was kind, but he wasn't nice.
Whitewashed tombs.
And that's
Rude
the
vibe.
thing is like, going back to what you were saying and trying to find the balance in what you're saying about, like staying focused on a positive mission and staying, forward facing, is that a lot of these people say that they represent Jesus.
Yeah.
Like they have prayer and they sit
Yeah.
on church pews and things,
Yeah.
but they're not living like Jesus.
Well, here's the thing. We somehow, in some way, we always attach an expectation to what we think somebody should be. And just because I say the name of Jesus doesn't mean that I'm living like Jesus was.
Good
You can
point.
tell
I
the
have
difference.
a heart like Jesus
Her and I
was.
argue about this all the time. Just because you stand up in front of a pew
Does
doesn't
not
mean you're
mean-
living your life.
Does not mean that.
Yeah.
And so what we have to do as people is stop allowing ourselves to believe
Yeah.
that they are not what they're showing us. If somebody, listen, Maya Angelou says, don't never let a naked man give you a shirt. Have you ever heard that before?
No.
Never. Be
That's a
weary.
good one. Let me write that down. No
Be
naked man.
weary when a naked
Oh my
man gives you a
gosh.
shirt.
This is like a
That
dad
makes
kind of
sense?
thing.
Yeah.
It's like a dad joke.
I know. It's weird when a naked man gives you a shirt because why he giving you that shirt? He's
So
naked.
is that kind of like, so
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
You need
what
to
I'm
go to
saying
you.
is, when people show you who they are,
Believe
the
them.
Yeah.
first time, believe them.
Yeah.
This will say, where my camera at? This will save
Yours
a
is right
lot of relationships. When people show you who they are the first time, believe them. Don't let them tell you twice, because you're going to get hurt.
But you know, a lot of people get fooled by pressure.
Oh, God.
There's just so much pressure to deal with. Either it's the authority that's over the top of you and you have to deal with it, and you're talking about a career move. I've always said this. If I can't teach you, and try to show you what's right and wrong, then I don't need to be in your presence.
Yeah.
I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
I need to be away from you, because all you're doing is, you're just standing in the way of my mission. And my mission is to teach people. That's the way I've always been all my life. And
we brothers.
it's
I
an
feel
interesting
you.
thing, because
I
my
feel you,
brother,
Mark.
I had two brothers that died a year apart. And one who was, we were all Catholic. We were raised Catholic. And he was in the Catholic Church, and he did a lot of things with the Catholic Church. But what was important is he had a surgical procedure done the first time, and they couldn't figure out why he was losing all this blood. Anyway, long story short, he went on the table, and when they put him out under anesthetic, he died 7 times. And somewhere in the process of him dying,
Your brother?
yeah, somewhere in the process of him dying, when he came back, and then he died again, coded out. They call that coding. You're essentially dying. And he came back, and I asked him. I said, "So what happened? What was it like?" And we all question whether there's a heaven, there's another side of our life. Where are we going after this?
Sure.
And I was always, even though I grew up in the church, the Catholic Church, I was very skeptical of that.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, "Mark, I was going down a white tunnel." Now, I've heard this before, but he said I was cruising down there and everything was peaceful, and I was going down this tunnel, and it took a long time. I was going at the end of it, and he said this big hand come into the tunnel and stop me. And I said, "Okay, what happened?" He said, "This voice came across." I said, "Was it a deep voice, or was it, I'm just kidding.
I like that voice.
Yeah. So, he said, that person told me, he said, "Dean, there's a lot you have to do in your life, and it's not time for you to go yet, and I have big plans for you." And all of a sudden, he woke up. That was the end of it. And I told myself, wow, it gives me goosebumps when I think about that.
Yeah.
There is an afterlife. That hand came in and stopped him. And of course he died a year after that.
Yeah.
But my second brother died in there too. But it was just that message that resonated. And I've heard about this stuff on TV and all that.
Sure.
But it happened to me and my family.
Yeah.
Well, I had a similar situation like that when I was 29. Now I'm about to be 47 in December, so this has been close to 18 years ago.
Okay.
But I was raised in a Christian home in a Pentecostal upbringing where I didn't really have a good Christian example. I know that we all have our own imperfections and flaws, and my parents, as good as they tried, they did, but I just didn't have a good relationship. And so I became very wayward and rebellious. I actually have written a book about it called Hypocrite to Healer.
Okay, I
it's
like
on
that name.
Amazon.
That's right.
I love that name.
Thank you. And so, but I remember at 29 years old, I was pregnant out of marriage. I was divorced. I, ended up finding out that my son was going to be diagnosed, or he was actually going to be born with a cleft lip and a cleft palate. And I remember just feeling hopeless. I don't know how I'm going to support this child. I don't know. I'm 29 years old, getting ready to have a baby.
Sure.
And I remember having a dream. It was almost like it was real. And I was taking a nap in my truck when I worked for TSIS. I was on my lunch break, and I had this very real dream about being out at my mom's property in the summer. And I heard these baby birds chirping in the summer. And I remember calling out to my mom and going, "Mom, don't you think that that's weird that baby birds are chirping in the summer?" And she said, "Yeah." And as soon as that happened, I felt a hand slide across my shoulder. And this low, deep, but very comforting voice said, "Fear not, child, for the end is near." And for someone who was living very wayward, that kind of is a scary thing.
Sure.
For Jesus to say, "Fear not."
Sure.
And it was literally within weeks that he put me in the path of a pastor that lived next to my mom and dad. And I ended up going home crying out, asking for forgiveness. And I literally have been running headfirst after Jesus.
Wow.
And my life has been very messy in my run because I haven't had a whole lot of mentorship. I've had to kind of sit at the feet of Jesus myself. And so a lot of people have judged my walk. But at the end of the day, even in the mistakes, even in the areas where I didn't know, whether or not I was doing the right thing, God still always turned it for good.
Yeah. Following Jesus is basically what I'm saying is when you follow Jesus, I'm going to always come back to him if I make a mistake.
Yep.
Following Jesus is not I'm going to live a perfect life. I'm going to do this right. I'm going to do this right. No. Following Jesus is saying that there's somebody in charge of my life.
Yeah.
It's not me. And if I fail, I'm going to go to him, not nobody else. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, come on, look at us going to church. I don't know. First of all, this is my first time. I haven't watched any of your episodes, Mark. But
Okay.
well,
now you'll start.
I'm definitely going to start now. But I'm so glad that we can talk about Jesus on this show.
Yes,
Because
yes,
I love him.
yeah.
We like talking about everything, and
Yeah.
you know, we just try to get a good perspective on our guests and what they believe in, and
Yeah, sure.
what we talk about, and I think that's important. But I'm going to segue into something else. We're
Come
going
on.
to get a little bit into the serious stuff now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, religion is serious. Trust me, it is.
Yeah, wow, I'm interested.
So, as you well know, we're talking about the data centers, which has been a big topic here in
Okay.
Columbus.
Talking to the wrong person.
And
I'm telling you right
yeah,
now.
I know. I've been getting a lot of criticism one way or the other because
Yeah.
I said that I'm not in a big hurry to make a decision on a data center.
That's right.
And the reason that I'm not, and the people go, well, why not? I mean, I've gone to Atlanta. One guy said, I've gone to Atlanta, and they got all kinds of data. I said, well, that's Atlanta.
I like your
I
characters.
thought you
You
were.
know.
I thought you
It's
It's
didn't.
Yeah.
animated.
You didn't like it. I thought you said that you didn't like the data center.
No, I don't. But
okay,
I'm
okay.
saying
He's
that
not
this
in a
person,
hurry.
Okay.
Yeah.
there,
He's
he goes,
animating
he was,
Okay.
the voices.
he was in the favor of it. And what he was
Oh,
saying
okay.
was
Okay.
that, you know, the data centers, and I've been to Atlanta, and I know there's dozens up there. And I was like, great, that's Atlanta. That's not Columbus,
I know.
Georgia.
Mark, I just love that that's your voice for him.
Yeah. Because I don't know who he was, but I'm just
right,
assuming
right.
he had a deep voice. But,
Tyler,
you
you're
know,
a killer audiobook. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
exactly.
For kids, too, come on.
yeah. But it was interesting because, you know, he said these are all there. And I said, look, I'm out there on a limb. And I said, I'm not in favor of the data center.
Yeah.
And the reason, and I'm going to explain this so that everybody understands, because I got on there and hit 5 different people today
Sure,
explaining it, my position. There's not enough information in me to make a qualified decision. To me, it's not.
Okay.
Because what I've read on the internet and what I've pulled down on Chat GPT and other places is that
Love chat.
we're not getting enough information. And what I don't want to do, and I'm always thinking of the taxpayer and the public, is I don't want the taxpayer to foot the bill for increased electricity.
Yes.
We're letting our taxpayers pay too much already in Columbus. And businesses, small businesses, pay about 5 different taxes they pay, which is ridiculous. I mean, we have the highest tax rate in the state, and we don't need that. I don't want to put the lion's share of the burden on them.
And the data centers, they're going to get a whole bunch of tax incentives.
Well, yeah,
Not-
that's my fear of when we relocate business. And I talked about small business is always important, but the small business pays the lion's share of taxes in this area.
Yeah.
And not the big corporations do. So when we talk about small, I want to bring medium to large corporations here for the simple fact that I want them to take up that tax base that small businesses have been paying. I don't like it that the taxpayer's paying the lion's share of that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to look at cutting those taxes. But what really concerns me is the fact that electricity is going to go up. Water is going to go up.
Yep.
And so what are we going to do? What is Georgia Power going to do? They're going to
Sure.
create bigger stations
Sure.
that we have to pass. They pass that expense on to the consumer.
Sure, sure.
That bothers me.
Sure.
Oh yeah. And
So that's the reason why I'm not in big support of that, because I don't have enough information to make a qualified
well,
decision.
environmentally as well.
Yeah.
It's a pollutant. It's a water pollutant. It does take a ton of water to cool I guess I don't know what those are called, the reservoirs or whatever.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's loud. You're gonna displace a ton of
Frequencies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
frequency. You're gonna displace a ton of wildlife that's in those woods, that the 987 acres that they're trying to take over. And then on top of that, like, it's bright. It's just a nuisance.
Yeah.
Why are you
Light pollution is what they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
talking
Are
about.
you,
Exactly.
And what exactly are you asking me about the data center?
Well,
Mark?
I don't know have you studied this at all? Are you been in favor or anything
Nothing.
of it? Have you done
Your
anything with
boy
it?
knows nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you, the only reason I just talked about a data center is because Dr. Bryant,
Yeah.
she's running for mayor, and I thought it was interesting she was the first black woman
Yeah,
to
yeah.
run for mayor. So that's why I asked. She asked on. I said, sure, come on. But let me just tell you what I do know. What I know for sure is that I think the people of Columbus and the surrounding areas, wherever this data center is going to be at, I think the people are just tired of other people making decisions
Thank
That's
you.
right.
without them
Exactly.
involved.
Exactly.
And I think that's the biggest argument here.
Yeah.
I know nothing about the data center, what it will benefit and what it will harm. But most of the arguments that I have heard,
It's bad.
Is
It's just
that we are not being heard in the way
That's
that
right.
we
Yes.
say
Yeah.
Yes.
that people say that they hear us.
Yes.
Exactly.
That makes sense. So that for that, I don't think anybody's going to be involved in it.
Yeah.
And people who are, to each his own.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
Yeah.
what about the people who are that this data center is going to be on their land? It's going to
Yeah.
actually affect their livelihood.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
we have to take that into account. And so it does really show you what kind of people you're dealing with, though.
Yeah.
It does kind of show you.
Well, when we talk about people, going back people, and I'm glad you segued into that, what's important to me is the fact that when city council or these governmental agencies make these decisions, they're making it not on the taxpayer. The taxpayer's not making the decision, not informed.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing would happen at the baseball park? Look, I hope they do really well. I hope so. We spent a lot of money. But the bottom line is it was done behind secret doors.
Yep.
And we had one city manager that said, well, if we hadn't got that sixth vote, Pop Barnes, we wouldn't have got that. He said that at the last debate. And what really bothers me is the fact that when were they invited to make this decision? It was done behind
Yeah.
secret doors.
Yeah.
And they put the burden on the taxpayer. And that's
Once
what
again.
I don't want to do.
Yeah,
That's the
but-
reason why I'm so behind it.
And
But-
you know what? It's just so hard for me, Mark, because I don't know what fence side I'm on, honestly, but I'll tell you this, that it's hard to talk about politics because I am a young man, a young black man.
How
Okay?
young are you? Tell us your age.
28.
You're not
Wow,
that young.
you are
I'm a
young.
young black
You are
man,
young, bro.
young 28 black man. And from where I stand, it doesn't matter who's in the seat.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
But
Does that make sense though?
Yeah, it does.
So
It
it's
makes
hard
sense.
to talk about politics because it's almost like we've always, for some reason, every year, every 4 terms or whatever terms, we have the same conversation.
Yeah, it
about
is.
the same people running or the same kind of people running, whether they're black or white or rich or poor. And where I stand, my question is, why are 50? It's been 50 years, 20 something, and we're still having the same conversation. We're still fighting for jobs and
Yeah.
opportunity. We're still fighting
Yeah.
for we're still fighting for this. Well, something's not right.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's really where I think you are kind of hitting things on the head. You know, the nail on the head, because
Yeah.
people have been doing the same thing over and over and over again because nobody cares.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it feels like nobody cares. Somebody may
But
care.
no, but you're
what
feeling
ha-
something correctly.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and what happens is we get excited to elect these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
They do very well. They get in the office.
And they forget
then-
about you.
And then it's like,
yeah.
what
Yep.
happened? What happened
Yeah.
to your drive when you were running?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so it's almost like this is why so many young people are not voting.
Yeah.
This is why the majority of black people are not voting.
Yeah.
It's because we're just tired of not
Yeah.
being heard.
I know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it
that's-
does make sense.
that's- I think that's the biggest argument
Yeah.
in terms of politics
But
that I
I-
will ever have.
Yeah.
But I think that's why we need to have more like presence and campaign more to get the youth involved.
Yeah.
Because like with Mark running, you know, his whole thing is we're leaving a legacy. You know, and I think about that's one of the questions I think that
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about is what's more important, like leaving a legacy or like, and I can't remember exactly. Sarah, do you know exactly how it was stated?
I have it right. Leaving. Oh, and it
But
just jumped
I'll let her
off.
get to that. But
Yeah.
you know what's important is
Tell me more.
is we're not looking out. You just hit it on the head. You're not looking out for the people.
No, they're
Right.
not.
And
Yeah.
we're arguing the same arguments
Yeah.
for 40, 50 years. And you got the
50
same politicians
years.
that sit in positions and collecting millions of dollars for what reason? You were elected to work for the people.
Yeah.
When did you forget that?
And I'm not hear what I'm not saying because I don't know who's watching. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that there's not people elected in office that don't care about the people. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
if you're gonna blame one person
Yeah.
for one thing going wrong, you're already wrong.
Yeah.
Because when you think about the way politics is ran, from where I stand, I'm 28 years old now. I'm young now, so teach me something if I need to know. from where I stand, there's a lot of hands that has to go involved into a decision
Yep.
before it's actually made.
Yes,
Popular
and
vote.
those
True.
are the people that don't care.
But this is where I'm like, we need a clean house. We need to revolutionize the city council. We need to make sure that we pick someone that is completely going to be transparent, that we can, like, and one of the things I always like about Mark is he says, I have a report card. We're going to have like little stages so you can say, did
Dr.
you
Brian
do?
said that today too. She
Well,
said that I did too. Wow.
I got a
this-
report card.
yeah,
I said that. I
Mark's
said,
been saying it for a long time. So.
you know, in the first 100 days, I'm going to, you know, every quarter I said that I'm going to put out a report card. But in the first 100 days, there's so much that's got to be done. It has to be accomplished.
Sure.
And, you know, if I don't get it done, impeach me in the middle of the term. I'm serious.
Recall or
That's
ask, whatever.
get rid
That's
of
so-
me
That's so big of you to say, Mark.
because I'm
Okay.
not doing what you elected me to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's what's important. I look at leadership. I don't know if you, because you're 28 years old, so I'm going
Yeah,
to
let's
give you a
keep
little
that in
lesson
mind.
about
I don't know
leadership.
Nothing. Okay.
No, you know a lot. You're pretty wise actually
Yeah,
for a
you are
28 year
very
old.
wise.
Very
appreciate that.
humble.
I
But
appreciate
very
that.
The
humble.
bottom
Appreciate
line
that.
is leadership is it's a taught skill, and for some people it's an acquired skill.
That's-
leadership, and in the
love that,
military we
Mark.
teach people leadership. That's what we teach. That's what
Yeah.
I start from the youngest guy that's 18 years old, and I give them a responsibility of 5 or 6 guys and
That's
say,
so good.
take them over from point A to point B,
Yeah.
get them to do that. We're teaching responsibility, and that's what's important. But when I look at leadership, I look at it as a responsibility to not just your soldiers, but to the people you serve. And so when you're not doing that, that's what I always question. And a lot of people get on me and they go, you're the ogre and you're mean and you're nasty and you're everything. I was
That
like,
voice
no,
again. He's
yeah.
doing that character.
But you
Yeah,
know,
but
the bottom line is I care. I
Yeah.
care about leadership.
Yeah, and here's the thing too: we have to keep in mind with people who are like you, Mark, who are running for office and
Yeah.
say that. You also have to keep in mind my relationship with the words "I care about you."
Sure.
with. Because if you don't understand that as somebody who wants to be in leadership, then you're going to lose me.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is anybody in any office can say, I care about you. And you see the commercials, man.
Yeah.
Come on. You
Yeah.
see the commercials. They pay good money for
I
those
know.
commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say, I care about you, but you don't know that the person who said they care about me when I was younger abused me. So how do I not know
Yeah.
that you saying you care about me, you're just going to abuse me? You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, that makes
so
good
it's
sense.
really hard. It's
Yeah.
hard is what I'm
I know.
saying. It's hard to get the trust of the people, but it's doable. And we have seen people and leaders who have done very well at getting people to move.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
and this
Yeah.
is that's what we need. We need people that will get people to move.
We need unity.
Exactly.
We need
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
we need people of all ages and all races.
That's right.
That's
and,
right.
And
Diversity.
and see, this is what I guess you were talking
That
about.
segues into your thing. So go ahead.
Yeah, so like because you were talking about leaving a legacy over popularity. That's what you were saying. It's like, are we gonna just be popular and this is my buddy, so that person we're gonna make sure that they're getting into office, or are we going to leave a legacy for our children
Yeah.
that encompasses safety, security? They get more money back into their pockets. You know that they're not gonna just have. Be subject to backroom deals that, they'll have to pay for.
Yeah.
And this is the things that I hope the public will consider as they go to the polls, because it is so important. It is so important that we elect people that will do the right thing, because yes, there is an element where we feel that they're just going to do the same thing. There's a big possibility that even the best candidate will get into that seat and then just do what the others have done. Or if we keep our consistency, the tenacity, and keep electing people and not just focus on one race, but all of them,
Right.
just rally behind all of them. Once one race is done, we're going to rally behind this next race
Yeah.
Right.
for our community. And then once we can get the right people in, hopefully that person will surround themselves with Mark. I know that he's going to surround himself with so many good people. Like there's going to be a change in regime, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But he'll surround himself with good people that can make good decisions. That's going to
Yeah.
be for the people,
Yeah.
because that's all we really want.
Well,
And the most important thing about that is even if you put people in the right positions, in the right leadership positions, is that you have to hold them accountable to.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to
100%.
either they're doing the job or they need to go. And I've told
Right.
people this as an interim sergeant major. I had a guy one time, and I told him he kept coming up late for work on our weekend drills. And I said, look, one time, okay, free bite of the apple. Second time, you bit the other side of the apple. Third time, there's no more apple left. And I basically told him, I said, look,
I love that you use food analogies to do that. I
yeah,
love that.
you
Biggest
just, I told him, I said, well, look, at the end of the day, you just don't fit into this environment.
Yeah.
You don't. You
Yeah.
really don't.
Yeah.
And the Army can't fire you unless you're doing something, but I can ask you to move on.
I think that's such a great point because I also think that there are some people who run for different things.
Yeah.
They get excited about the position
Yeah.
because they feel like they're the best candidate.
Right.
But then when they get into it, it's like, maybe I'm not the best.
Yeah.
And here's why discernment
Yeah.
and having people
Thank
around you,
That's right.
who tell you the truth
Yeah.
will come into play.
Exactly.
Because maybe I'm not good at this, I don't know, being a police officer,
Yeah.
right? But maybe I'm good at keeping the books for the police
Yeah.
officer. That makes sense. So it
Yeah.
takes a
Yeah.
leader.
Yeah.
It takes a leader, somebody in a leadership position,
Yeah.
to steward the people
Yes.
that they are leading well to
Yeah.
identify that.
Yeah,
And
I
so
saw
many
that.
times, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sam.
No, you get- I
So
cut you
many
off.
times, we got people who are running for office. And nobody has equipped them. Nobody has said, no, that's a good role for you. They just hear from a couple of their family members
Yeah.
and a couple of their friends,
Yeah.
and then they think that's the right position. But that's not always the case.
Right.
No.
Be okay with being the man that makes the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I told that guy, I said, look, you probably fit in a different job somewhere in the
Yeah.
state.
You can do so much.
Yeah.
You can do. Listen, I had a friend, that was always he just would not. He does not listen to authority when it comes to the job. And I told him, I said, listen, you probably need to go into entrepreneurship. because if you're not gonna obey the
Your own
rules
boss.
here,
It's
Yeah.
a hierarchy.
go on and go to entrepreneurship.
Be your own boss.
And he went to entrepreneurship, and he's doing very well.
Whoa.
Wonderful.
6 figures very
That's
well.
awesome.
Wonderful.
So what I'm saying is, some people need
Yeah.
to be pushed out
I know.
Yeah,
and
I
try
agree.
something else.
That's
Really,
right.
I agree.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
Julie.
because I was trying to get back here to the legacy for a minute, okay?
Yes, I'm sorry, Lord.
no, you're good. So I think about how if we are legacy minded, okay, then we should be legacy minded for.
Well, we have to identify what that means. What does legacy minded
And
mean?
I'm going to explain that. So
Okay.
legacy minded means what you're leaving for the future.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you are legacy minded for yourself, you should not be a public servant, right? And so
That's a word.
right? And so what I have noticed is you have career politicians that are sitting in these seats that are legacy minded for their own family.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to sit in a seat as a public servant, you have to be legacy minded as a whole,
Yeah.
right? And so when I think about, we talk about a lot of these people that are just continuing to make the same decisions, or they're doing the backroom deals
Sure.
or whatever, they're not keeping the public in mind. Because if you were keeping the public in mind, why did you have to have a backroom deal for a $50 million ballpark? And the only way that we found out was because of the Muskogee muckraker, which led me to the question, how did he get invited to the backroom deal?
Yeah, well, maybe. Well, I don't know anything about no backroom deal, but I do know this. I do know when a little black boy sees something real nice in a space that was considered bad, there is a different feeling. So I don't know how I feel about this backroom deal, how the ballpark was made. And I don't even think I care about it, honestly, to even discuss it. But I will say that if you have ever lived in spaces that people wouldn't even think about going, and then somebody puts something real nice and shiny there, it does make you feel like, all right,
That's a good perspective.
that's what you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a bad deal, and maybe it was not talked about and everybody agreed on it. But maybe I'm on the other fence of it because I'm thinking about the little kids who've never been outside of Columbus.
Well,
Does that make sense?
yes.
That makes sense.
I still think two wrongs don't make a right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so if it's wrong, as much as it's gonna do good, I think that's a utilitarian ideology.
Ooh,
It's like
I love that
for
word,
like,
Sarah.
hey, this is useful, but it's going to cost you in the end, and you'll have to pay on it. But at least you get to use it. You know, I'm just like, no, I didn't want to use it. I can't afford it right now. I'd rather take that resource and do something that I really wanted to do, but now I have to be stuck with this mortgage pretty much that I don't even want, that I didn't even sign for.
You don't want to
And-
live beyond your means?
Yeah.
I know. I'm forced to live
What's
beyond.
wrong with that?
That's a great point because that's also the conversation too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, well, what do we do here?
Right.
Who do we elect?
Right.
Yeah.
What is the right? Is there a right answer?
Well, you see-
is there a right person? It just can't be you, Mark.
It has-
It just
I
can't be
know.
somebody that we think. You see what I'm saying?
I,
Yeah.
I agree. I think that the answer has to be like, hey, we can't control the past, but we can move forward
I love that.
in a better direction.
Yeah.
So we see that was wrong. We're definitely not choosing the people for that position again.
Yeah.
And something that I watched the video where they said it's like when you get into Washington, you know, you're into those roles and you're serving on different agencies to serve the political.
Until the other side pulls you to the other side
Well,
of the room and
but
says, we know what you ran on and you want to work with the people, forget all of that. This is the way we want you to be.
Well, that is true. But the thing is, too, it's like leadership
Yeah.
changes that direction.
It
Because,
does.
like, some people, like I saw this one video where they said that they did not fire anybody in their agency. But what they did is that they
Moved them around.
They moved them around. That's right.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so if we know that there
I
are
love that.
people, I know, it's like if we know that there are people that are not good in one area, this is why tests and assessments and say, hey, you were good in these aspects, so I think you're better for this role. And if you do make some changes, then you can go to another role. We'll
Yeah.
see about promotion, but that's the thing. We don't have promotion. We don't have any assessment. And how long are we Because I don't want to take.
So we're at a minute and 22. I'm sorry, an hour and 22 minutes.
Okay, so I guess we can do y'all want to wrap up?
kind of segue into something different. I know we talked a little bit about everything, religion, politics. We
Yeah.
touched on it.
Yeah.
So where do you see your podcast program going from where you're at now? Where do you see? Are you going national? Or are you?
Oh, I know you just
know?
He's going national.
Because that's my dream. Also, Look, I do want to be your mayor, but yeah, I still want to be on the podcast. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I think I just want to be obedient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no desire to be big. That would be great if that happens.
Yeah.
If I was a #1 podcast right next to Joe Reagan or maybe
Next to
Rogan.
Mark LaJoy's
Yeah.
podcast, but that's okay. Well, I'm going to plug our podcast here, folks. I hate to say
if I
it,
was next
but
to yours, that would be great. But at the end of the day, when I go home, and I have kids, and I don't have kids now, but when I want to be able to tell
you
my
will.
kids,
They come quick.
I want to be able to tell my children that your dad did something today to
Yeah.
help somebody.
That's right.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
So I don't know. National would be nice because it would create me to do more opportunities and
Yeah.
sit with more awesome people like you all.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I have that desire. That makes sense? I
Yeah.
just want to be obedient. And I
That's
think
good.
if I chase the obedience,
Yep.
Yeah.
wherever I land, I'll be content.
Yep.
What
That
kind of
makes sense.
questions do you have of me? I mean, I know you interviewed some of the other candidates. Did you have anything specific that you
It's like,
wanted
I'm going
me
to
to?
save it for my show.
I don't know, Mark, because like I said, I'm only sat down with the people
Yeah.
who have wanted to sit down with me,
Yeah.
or they had somebody say, "Hey, can you and Matthew connect?" So I don't have any. What I'm saying is, I have no desire to get into any politics, but the people have spoken, and they obviously want to hear
Yeah.
what these people are saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need my help. I don't
Yeah.
think you need
Well, you
my
know,
questions.
these debates, the forums that we went to, they're not really debates. They're forums.
Yeah.
Because a debate is a back and forth, flow of ideas, whether
Yeah.
negative or positive. But
Yeah.
the folks get to see who that side of that person is, and they
Yeah.
get to see some of the things they don't like to see and some of the things they do like to see.
Yeah.
But they cut you off at 30 seconds and 15 seconds and 60 seconds, you really can't get a good an evaluation of who that candidate is or who that person is on the other side of it.
So
it's
when they
scripted.
come on a show like this, it does make it a little bit more authentic.
It does,
Yeah.
and everything is scripted. I mean, including myself, we all had these candidate, notes up there. And
Questions and-
of course, when they took the notes away, it was like, uh-oh, what do I got to do now? I got to rehearse my lines, because that's
Right.
what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
And these podcasts like this, I think, really get a good perspective on who your candidate is and who are they personally
Yeah.
and how are they spiritually.
Yeah, and that's probably where I land.
Yeah.
If God gives me a platform and I don't use it, I have no platform.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So the only reason why I'm interviewing the people that I'm interviewing is because there are people that I know personally that want to know them.
Right.
Particularly they're young people who
Right.
don't watch the debates
Right.
or forums.
I understand.
And that don't know the candidates.
Right.
So now
that's
you
it.
have to have Mark on there now, obviously.
We're getting quick.
Well, Mark, if we can fit it in, I would love to.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
At my studio, there's a wall, and you'll see it when you come, of the first 21st guests that I've interviewed, and there are people like Crystal Thompson and Paul Amos right next to each other. And that's what I think heaven's gonna look like.
Yeah.
Black or white, rich or poor.
Yeah.
I think Crystal's gonna be chilling with Paul.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be sharing a cocktail, or maybe a Long Island iced tea. That's what I think. So that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
So whether I'm interviewing a mayor or I'm interviewing a drug dealer, which I just have done. They don't air until next month.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody gets a seat at the table, and everybody has their own
Yeah.
share. So at the core of the podcast, that's what it's about.
And that's what I feel too. We've invited all kinds of different guests,
Yeah.
and we'll make that picture happen just
I
like you
know.
had it. I like the idea. I'm going to steal that idea. So I'm
should.
sorry to
I
say,
got
but
it.
we've had a lot of
ChatGPT.
guests already. So,
Yeah, that's really
but
good.
that it's a good thing to have you on
Yeah.
and to have you to get your perspective.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another podcaster.
Yeah.
I think it's important, and it's also important that they get to see the other side of who a person is.
Yeah.
I'm not as a hard character and hardened guy as everybody thinks I am. The Army taught
That's
me
so
to
weird
act.
that you said people are saying it about it, because I did not get that from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Well, believe me,
but I also
Sarah
didn't do
knows.
research.
Sarah knows, but
that's what happened, Matthew.
Yeah.
The turn, okay.
Okay, well, I also didn't
that's-
do any research about any candidate,
Yeah.
so I haven't,
Yeah.
still haven't.
Well,
so.
do you have to? I'm just curious because I know we got to end this because we're getting long, but you have to see everything that's going on. So you don't have any kind of man.
No, I only see what the algorithm shows me. That's just
Okay.
the truth.
That's
That's
at
just the
least
truth.
you're
That's it. So I know who's running, but there's another guy that's running that I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
yeah.
because I just don't. I'm probably the only person on this that you guys invite that doesn't know anything about the politics, anything like that.
It's okay.
I just don't have a desire. That's not my
Yeah.
lane.
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
I'm falling into it because that's where people want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I can get them to watch it and then somehow make their own opinions, then I've done my job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I haven't.
So you didn't know you're coming on a conservative.
I did not know that.
We
No.
have very conservative. Well, Julie, you're conservative, but
I actually kind of ride the line.
yeah,
sometimes.
she's progressive.
Well,
sometimes.
I didn't say that, okay? Because I'm a firm believer. So this was back when Mark Jones was running for
Oh,
DA.
Lord Jesus.
Okay. Well, hold on, okay? Because
Okay.
from a paralegal perspective, I saw
Okay,
some
bless
things
Mark,
that don't.
bless him.
But anyway, I
Bless
did
him.
not
Bless him,
want.
Sarah.
I did not want Julia Slater as
I don't think
the same
anybody did.
DA, and the only
I
I don't
didn't
think
know.
anybody did.
the
I'll
only
see now.
option was Mark Jones. And I'm a firm believer that God gives us accountability for who we put in office. Because it's our power that we're lending to them for a period.
Yeah.
So we don't want to just give that to somebody without having forethought, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so a lot of times, I would pray, but this is the first year whenever he was running that God was talking to me about voting purpose and not party, okay? Because God will use anybody he wants to,
I love
okay? Like I even
I
think
actually
about,
miss Mark. I want to know. I want to know where he's doing
you know,
now.
he's
Like,
actually engaged.
I
Like,
heard he's out in Texas or
No.
something.
Really?
No,
Well, I don't think
that's
so.
what I heard. He was out in
actually
Texas.
like I actually want to check on him and
Yeah.
just
You
see how he's
should,
doing.
because
honestly.
like I know
They
that
ran him off.
when he was
Okay.
when he
Yeah, I
was
believe that. I believe
imprisoned.
that.
I did a lot of reaching out to him, praying for him. You know, we talked. You know, like I sent him, you know, messages through the jail or the prison system. You
Yeah.
know, like so we did a lot of that, and he's, from what I could tell, he's doing really well. But going back to this is when I really started seeing, like, it's not just about red or blue. You know, it's about who is who's God's person. And so I do not vote for anyone unless I have talked to that person, unless I have done research on that person, and I pray about that person.
I feel you. Come
You know,
on.
and
I
so
feel you on that
I
one.
think that's important.
it's not about painting toilets and
I'm just
fixing toilet seats and everything.
If I don't like anybody,
say that?
I'm just like, you know what? We're just gonna have to leave this to the Lord,
Yeah.
because I'm like
Yeah.
you. I'm not gonna vote at all if I don't feel like they're good. If I
Yeah.
see
And
any,
let me be clear, because I don't want anybody assuming that I'm not like, I don't really care or whatever, because that's not true. But I think where I stand is that I'm just going to focus so much on what God has in front of me, so that I can create opportunities so that my children don't have to fight for somebody else
Yeah.
to make that opportunity for them.
Right.
Not even my children, but anybody around me.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Right.
And that's part of the big argument too, is that there are not enough opportunities here in Columbus.
Yes.
There are not enough jobs. People are graduating and they're leaving. And I'm
Yes.
thinking, like, who's going to stay?
Yeah.
Who's going to stay and make the $1 billion business?
and then get
Yeah.
taxed while they stay.
And well, I'm saying, who's going to do it though?
Yeah.
Who's going to suffer that and then help Columbus out? Why do we always got
That
to
is
leave?
that is the question.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Who's
And-
going to run multiple
Right.
times? You know
Right.
what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Until they say yes.
Well,
You know
until
what
I get in a
That's
walker,
right, that's
until
right.
I'm in a walker.
That's right.
Hey,
I'm
and
good
I'm
to
gonna
go.
vote for you every time, Mark.
Oh,
every
man.
single time.
Come on.
Well,
Kentucky
listen.
Fried Chicken Man did it, so come
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
And made a
Matthew,
million.
it's been a pleasure to have you on.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you for
wanted to get
coming.
your perspective on stuff, and that's why we're running the gamut of different guests
Sure.
that we have come on, religious parts of that and political parts
Yeah.
and all that, because I want people to see, you know, our community, who we are
Yeah.
and who we really are.
Yeah.
And that's it's important and very important to me, especially, you know, for my co-hosts and everything. I think it's a pleasure to have you on.
I don't wanna leave.
And it was an honor
Yeah.
to have you on, and hopefully you'll get me on your podcast soon and we'll get it done.
Yeah,
So-
gotta rush
It's
rush
just-
over.
I try to give everybody a full week's Mark, so that's the only
Gotcha.
thing.
No
if,
pressure.
if we can get you a full week
Yeah.
or a couple of days, if we can come
You
on.
know,
but-
what's kind of messed up is my schedule right now because
Yeah.
I'm on a
Yeah.
6 to 6 schedule. You know, I work at night. When I get off,
Yeah, that's what
I'm
Sarah
like a
was saying.
zombie. When I come home, I'm like, you know, you wouldn't like to see me then.
No, thank
But
you for
really-
having me, Mark.
But it really has been a pleasure
Yes.
to have you on board.
Oh, thank you. Thank
and
you.
hopefully we can do this again. So
Oh, I would love that. I'd love to get out of my podcast and do somebody
I know.
else.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll-
we usually close our program out with a prayer if you'd join us.
Oh, yeah,
So-
sure. Yeah.
Your turn this time.
All right. Thought I did it last time. Okay. Lord, we just thank you, God. We thank you for our guest, Matthew, God. We thank you for this union and this experience, God, where it's nice and we can talk about the things that matter, not just so much on the political aspect of it, God, but in the philosophical and the also the I guess the spiritual side of things,
Yes,
Lord.
yes.
Lord, because you're in all of it and we love you, God. We thank
Yes,
you that
thank you,
you join us all together. Like, even though we don't know each other, God, you knit us together
Yes, Lord.
in unity because we believe in you and we want what's right. We want the best thing for our community and for our future, Father. And so, Lord, we just pray blessings over Matthew, God, that you would
Yes.
bless his podcast, that he would be able to thrive and take off, Lord.
Bless him, Holy
And Lord, we just pray that he will leave a good legacy for his family. And Lord, we just thank you for what you're doing in our city. And we love you and we bless you. And it's in your son name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
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 Amen, folks. And glad that you tuned in tonight, Columbus, Georgia. And let's also pray for our soldiers that are overseas right now. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And the safety of our public and our taxpayers. So good night and God bless.
Wow, that was so fun.